Alright, so now we're pretty much done with this finger. We're just going to add 2 more details just to kind of really shape it out a little bit better. So I'm just going to insert an edge loop halfway between the 2 knuckles right there, and one between the knuckle and the part where it's connected to the hand, the other knuckle. This way, I'm just kind of giving it a little bit more of a characteristic to it, so it has a little bit more kind of form. So all I'm really doing is just adding those and just kind of prepping them for when I'm going to be working on the rest of the hand. So I'm just going to bring that over there. And that's looking pretty good for the most part. I'll bring that in a little further more. And this way, our finger is pretty well defined. It's got its own type of like different movements to it. And it has a nice set of like organic feel. See? And that's one finger done. So now we gotta do that 3 more times, which in this case is kind of pointless. There's no sense in us doing that entire process to create 3 more fingers when we got one pretty much done right here. So what I'll do is I'll pretty much duplicate it 3 times, and these are going to be our other fingers. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'll kind of go into my front view. I'm going to leave my different views on just so it's a little easier to see. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go in and modify each one of these fingers to really just shape it out to our hand. So in this case, for this finger right here, it's got a little bit more of a tilt this way and this way. And all I'm doing is just kind of putting in the rough spot. I could modify it later if I want, but it's not too necessary. So this one, we'll go in that way, that way. Just kind of scale it. And again, I'm just going to adjust all this later on. But for now, this should get the job done. At least to the extent of making it workable. So after that, we just kind of have to adjust these as we're going along. So I might just kind of go in front view and just kind of take a nice look at where everything is and position these vertices as best as I can. So like this area, I'm going to kind of move it around that way. This one's going to kind of go this way. I'm going to center this more. And I'm just adjusting it to the finger. You could go into edge mode and just double click some of these edges and modify all of them at once. If you really want to do it that way, it is a little bit faster. You just want to make sure everything's kind of going nice and even. So I'll just bring that over there. These, I might have to get that from a different angle. Just take all these and kind of move them a little bit better and just get a good idea on where everything is. That looks good there. Then we'll move on to the next one, and it's pretty much doing the same process. All I'm doing is just kind of moving some of these vertices around to really define where they are and how they are kind of working with the different parts of the body, or in this case the hand. Now I will note, this isn't necessarily the best way of modeling a hand for animation. And what I mean by that is when you're modeling a hand for like to have it rigged or anything like that, you do kind of want it to be straight out with the fingers as straight extended, because it will be easier for yourself or whoever is rigging your character to actually set that up for you. Because if they're kind of closed and curled like this, it does make things a little bit more difficult. But if you're just modeling to model, then this should be fine. So I'm just going in and I'm taking these vertices or these edges and kind of moving them around so that kind of at least gives me the general shape. That looks pretty good. Let us take a look at it from the other angles. Let's get these a little bit bigger. All I'm doing is just kind of adjusting things. I am kind of eyeballing it, but that's okay. Alright. So now that we got our other fingers done, it's time to kind of start getting them attached. So what I like to do is I kind of like to find an area where our fingers can attach nicely. So in this case, if I look at both these at the same time, this looks like a good starting point. So what I'll end up doing is I'm going to select this finger right here, select the hand. I'm going to go to edit mesh. I'm going to go to combine. That way they're set as one finger or one object. I'm then going to kind of go in. I'm going to go through face mode, just kind of adjust this a little bit. I should have done that before I combine them, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start shaping it. So what I'll do is I'll take one vertex, I'll switch to my move tool, I'm going to hold the V on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag it to the finger. Then I'm going to just kind of move a little bit, do the same the next part, and then adjust the vertices as you're going along. That looks good. So this one, I'm going to kind of move this a little bit. Take that one, snap it to there. And here's where things get a little tricky. So this part worked out nicely, but I don't have an edge loop right here or geometry to kind of really attach it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an edge loop. So mesh tools, insert edge loop. I'm going to go about halfway, and I can select it and adjust it however I need, just to kind of give it a little more definition and movement. That looks pretty good. And same process. I'll select one of these vertices, I'll switch to the move tool, I'll hold the V on my keyboard, and I'll snap it right there. I'm going to need to do the same. Let me do this one first. This one's going to go in a little bit. Do that there. This I'm going to snap to there. That looks better. Yeah, it looks good. I might move both those a little bit. Yeah, looks good. This one I'm going to kind of move this way more. And all I'm doing is just kind of following through. I'm not even really using my reference photos for this part. Just kind of eyeballing it to the best of my ability. And just seeing where everything kind of goes. So like this, I'll kind of move over this way a little bit more. And then I'll take this one and snap it to there. After I finish that, what I'll do is I'll go in, I'll drag a little box around the vertices I just set up. I'm going to go to edit mesh and then merge. And that's going to change that and combine them together so they're all connected. Here they're not connected, they're just on top of each other, so I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit G on my keyboard just to repeat the command, and I'll double check afterwards if everything's working nicely. So that way I'll know if I miss anything or anything like that. So that looks all good, it's all connected. Now we get on to the next finger. Same process, except what I'll do is I'm going to select these two. These fingers are going to be sharing these two vertices. That's going to be kind of important. It's going to help create that little bit of webbing between your fingers, and it's just going to be properly connected. So I'm going to combine it and just kind of go through the same process. So I'm just going to go in there. I'll bring this one over here. That looks good. And as you can see, I don't have an edge loop here or here, so I'm going to probably put in 2 edge loops for this finger. So just like that, let me move it a little bit, just kind of give it a little bit more definition. Gotta press G to do another edge loop. Same process, so I'm just gonna move it a little bit, really get that detail. And then just kind of continue with moving and snapping those vertices. So click, hold V, move it over there. This one will go over here. So this is all working out pretty nicely. This one will go over here. I don't know about that one. Might want to move it a little bit. Yeah, it looks better. So that looks good. Now I can start doing the combining. So edit mesh and merge. And then just kind of going through and selecting them, merging them. There we go. 2 fingers done. It does seem like we have a small problem here, which means something might not mesh or merge properly. When that happens, you're just kind of going to go in and see what's going on with it. There we go. So I didn't merge one of the vertices here. That's how you kind of tell if you missed one or you made a mistake or anything like that, is just smooth it out and see if it looks pretty nicely smooth. And if it has weird movements like that, then you can kind of go in and correct them. So now it's this finger. So we go. Select those 2, mesh, combine, and exact same process. This is actually my favorite part of creating a hand. I enjoy kind of just moving these vertices and snapping them right into place. It just makes things kind of come together nicely. I don't think I want to do that one there. I might want to leave this for here. And then create a new edge loop right here in the palm. So I'm going to insert an edge loop right here. I'm going to pull one, oops, didn't want that. Pull one right there. I'm going to actually insert an edge loop here. And here, I believe. I might need to get rid of one of these later, but we'll see. So this one, snap it over here. This is snapping over here. That's looking all nice. This one's snapping over here. And same process. So just going in, snapping them one at a time. Sometimes you could do multiple ones at once, but in these cases I like just being safe. That looks good. Now we're on this finger. So we can combine that. And again, move and snap. And the reason we modeled it this way is just because we have not only a nice amount of geometry where it's not too overwhelming, but it also kind of works out in how we set everything up, which is always good. You don't want to have to like kind of go back and forth between different things and see how they should go. Oops, I think I made a mistake. Yep. Let me undo that. I must have selected too many vertices at once. There we go. I do recommend saving often as well. So is there anything here I missed? Here. There we go. See what happened here. There we go. And now I can kind of just go in and make any other adjustments to my hands as I need. So I kind of just move vertices out as I need. This. And what I usually like to do is I'll kind of look at the fingers and go along these lines. And then kind of take the vertices right here following those lines in my palm itself or in the back of the hand and pull them out a little bit. It just kind of gives a little bit more of an organic feel to your hands. So you don't really see too much of detail, but you kind of see like that little bit of bend to it. and it just kind of looks a little bit more natural overall, not super smooth, because no one's hands are super smooth and bubbly like that, otherwise it looks like you're just kind of wearing a rubber glove. So this, I'm going to go inward like that. All I'm doing is just kind of like final little touch-ups here and there. Bring that over there. That looks good. So let's see, what else can we change or fix? I think I might take these, raise them up a little bit. Yeah, it looks better. So the next thing I'm going to do is create the thumbnail. And to do that is pretty much the same process. It's usually a bit of a weirder angle, so sometimes it doesn't really work out for people. I'm going to take those two faces, and I'm going to extrude those inwards. And I'm doing the same process as I did with the other fingers. I'm actually going to take this vertex, I'm going to lower it a bit, just kind of give me a little bit more to work with. Take those faces again, I'll extrude them up like that. And this is how it kind of gets into a bit of a weird shape. Yep. And then we just adjust it as we need. So I'm going to bring it out this way. Bring it up again. And then I can just kind of go in and shape this as I need. So I'll go there, I'll lower this a little bit, and I'm just kind of rounding it out a little bit nicer. That looks pretty good there. This might move a little bit. Yeah, that's good. And pretty much once you finish that, aside from like smaller little details, our hand is pretty much done. And I'll just save this into my hand folder. And there we go. And that's how you make a hand. See you in the next video.